What's up, ballers? Jacob here with the AllDriveNoDrop podcast, episode 38, coming at you, and I'm joined with a special guest. David's out in China having a little fun at the 60 factory right now. I'm joined by Kyle, who, you know, we just played today. I got a little sneak peek at the Alpha Pro Power from 11Six24. But Kyle, how are you doing now? I mean, I did beat you a little bad today, a couple games, but I think you're okay, right?
Hey, we traded back and forth a little bit, but it was a hot one today. It was really hot. We got some smoothies after, some nice. That's probably the best pickleball recovery you can get is smoothies in a shower. That's all you need.
Ooh, I actually didn't think about smoothies, but that would be good. I chugged like I don't even know how much coconut water I had. I had the huge thing of coconut water, and that kept me feeling good. I drank that. I drank a gallon of water, and yeah, it was cool all day here in Michigan. And of course, the only time the sun was out was when we were playing. And it was just
I know,
humid and hot. So
I was out this morning with the dogs. It was beautiful, nice, little bit of crisp weather, perfect pickleball. And then we get out there and start playing, and I don't know, it was turned up.
It was brutal. And I was trying to remember the first time we ever met, but honestly, I couldn't remember. And I'm just gonna assume that we met at the local courts at Upton. I think that might have been the first time. Do you think that was?
The first time I remember meeting you was we were at the Hawk, and I was just leaving. You were coming in, trying to get some games in.
Oh. Yeah,
and you were like, come on, just stay for one more game. I was like, no, dude, I've been playing for 2 hours.
That was the first time?
Or 3 hours or whatever.
Okay.
That's my first time remembering.
Okay.
But yeah, then I think Upton a couple times. And
okay, so that was last summer, right? That was last summer?
Yeah, that probably would have been early in the summer.
Yep, I was there.
After that, we played a few more organized times towards the end of the summer, throughout the winter.
We were doing some like league thing where we would travel around to different places and play, and I just got there early. So, okay, yeah, now I do remember it. Now I just couldn't remember off the top of my head. And we don't live the closest, so we don't get to play all the time. But when we do, always a good time. But yeah, let's see. On the show today, everyone, we're going to talk about 11Six24 with Kyle. He's a local 11Six24 ambassador. We're going to talk about the new Alpha Pro Power, the Vapor mainly we're going to focus on. Great 11Six24 expert here. He's been with them. How long have you been with them?
It's been over a year at this point.
Okay.
So
yeah, so you've hit their pretty much their whole lineup, really.
Yeah, everything except for the YSF, which was their very first paddle.
We don't need to talk about.
Well, actually, I've hit it, but I don't own it.
I don't. They don't sell it anymore, right? So
no, and it was just a generic catalog paddle. So I'm glad he upgraded from that.
But you got to start somewhere.
That's true. A lot of brands start with the catalog paddle.
Yep. And then we're going to talk about the Holbrook Arma. I do have some concerns about that. It's coming out, I think, tomorrow. So I wanted to get my thoughts out there. I won't have a review, so I just want to let people know what I think. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Selkirk era. I got to play that a little bit more today. I think that people that are Selkirk fans, I think it's going to be a good one for them. And then I'm going to talk about the Element 6 SUTR, small brand paddle. I'll talk a little bit about that. And then I'm going to talk about what I think might be the front runner for best paddle of 2025 so far for me. We'll talk a little bit about that. But now we'll go into... I guess we'll call this the start of Paddle Talk today, sponsored by Bodie Pickleball, one of the best accessory companies right now. They make amazing grips. They make amazing tungsten tape. They have a lot of other accessories. They got wristbands. They got a sweet bag. Actually, I really like their hat, too, the Bodie Pickleball hat. I know Kyle has been using some Bodie grips. The dry grips have been coming in handy with these sweaty days. Like when it's really humid and my hand's sweating, the dry grip is excellent. Like even when you could like wipe your head with it and it's still not slipping out of my hands. Any tacky grip you do that, it's gonna go flying. I've remembered some times when I didn't really know about dry grips. Like I was like, I can't really hit overheads or I'm gonna hit someone in the face. But yeah, thank you to Bodie for sponsoring Paddle Talk. Actually, it's supposed to be what is your best or what's the best pickleball paddle, which I keep forgetting, but I guess it's my podcast. I can call it whatever I want. Anyway, so Kyle, who exactly are you, and why should we trust you? I did look up your duper. He's pretty good, guys. He's a 4.7 player. I think he could go above a 5.0 on a good day. And like I saw, like maybe a 4.0 on a bad day. No, just kidding. But he's pretty good, so he knows what he's talking about. And I think he's a pretty honest guy. Like when he doesn't like something, he'll call it out. He'll say he doesn't like it. And so, but yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of answered for you, but is that pretty much why would people trust you?
I mean, I guess depending on who you ask, I either belong in the 4.0 bracket or I'm sandbagging the 4.5 bracket. So, to each their own.
Yeah.
If you do look at the duper, we do have a recent match between us, and
we're gonna bring that up.
And that was with the Alpha Pro Power, So maybe I had an unfair advantage there.
Was that approved at that time? Was it a USAP approved at the time of that tournament?
It might have been approved like 2 days after. So,
Ooh, so I'm going to have to email Duper.
You do, yeah, come back for it.
Email Duper about that one. All right, so big asterisk on that last match, guys. I mean, big asterisk. It was an illegal paddle he beat me with. So, but yeah, so like what exactly made you interested in 11.624 in the first place?
So I think really it's just I like to try different paddles. I like to see what different companies have to offer, and they were just sort of the paddle that I was consistently my favorite paddle. It was the paddle I consistently mained, starting back with the Huarache X Control Plus.
Okay, that was your names. First main for the 11.624 paddles was the Huarache X Control Plus.
Yeah, okay. And then ever since then I went to the Kevlar, and then I think from there the Alpha.
Okay.
And then I used the Alpha for forever. I think I was in the first batch of people who got that, and then I used that all the way up until the Powers came out. Okay. So, but yeah, so I've been using them as probably I think the only break was for the Olympus, which I believe you were also using at the time. I think that was your favorite paddle for couple months there.
Yeah, we ran into each other at another.
Oh yeah, another
I don't
tournament.
Think we really knew each other that well at that time, but we did run into each other at a tournament then last summer.
That one's also in Duper. If you want to look that one up too.
That is in Duper, and we were both using the Olympus, and that was really early into the Olympus. So I was very surprised to see him with. It was
Olympus. Before it was actually officially released.
Yeah, and I think that threw me off my game because I thought like I had the edge, and then I saw you had the Olympus, and it kind of messed me up there. But yeah, if anyone's interested, they could check out the result of that match, but probably don't want to waste your time digging through matches anymore.
It was a fun tournament. We had a celebrity in it, so.
Oh yeah, Chris Draper from the Detroit Red Wings, a couple Stanley Cups. So that was my second time playing Draper. Lost both times, but
he's actually pretty decent.
He is good. He's definitely.
It helps
good.
That he's a total stud as a partner, but he's not too bad himself.
Probably like the 6-time champion of that tournament running, probably, I think. So kind of helps when you play with the best player in the tournament every time. But you know what? Super nice guy. He actually offered, I think he gave some ice cream tickets to my wife for my kids. So, super nice
awesome.
guy. Yeah. And he never seems like always like I mean, I guess it's easy to be happy when you keep winning all the time, but seems like a happy, nice guy like every time after the matches. So. Always enjoy playing against him. I haven't seen him in a bit though. Not that I was running into him a lot, but so you were basically journeying down the Huarache X shape, the elongated shape for a while, and we got to the Powers, and then you switched to the Vapor Power. If I am correct, is that the shape that you ended up with out of all the Power series? Yeah. Okay.
And I think so before I even got into 11.624 as a brand, I was using 6.0. So I sorted the whole thing, same thing through their whole lineup. The double black diamond, the what was it called? The Infinity was their edgeless one, into the Ruby and that whole line. And so I did like the hybrid paddles, but
gotcha.
I liked how the Huarache paddle played a little bit more, played with that. That was the shape they had, and so that's what I used. And all the way until then they released the Pegasus shape, which at the time was called the Monarch, and it's a wide body. I'd never used a wide body before. I actually quite like wide bodies. I know we've talked about this before, but I would probably main the Pegasus shape if I only played gender doubles. But
Gotcha.
I play so much mixed doubles, and I prefer the elongated paddle for mixed doubles, and so I'd probably use the Huarache for that. But I don't want to switch back every other game, and so the Vapor was just sort of that middle ground that, it plays a little more like the Huarache, but it has a little bit more of the sort of stability that the Pegasus has, or the wide body, depending on who. I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with the brand, but I guess to break it down real quick, they have the Huarache, which is the elongated, the Vapor's the hybrid, and the Pegasus is the wide body.
Yeah, I found the same thing. Playing mixed with the wide body is really hard. You could do it. It just really minimizes your reach especially in mixed, you're maximizing your reach. So that's good to hear your paddle journey. But let's be honest, the real thing everyone wants to know is this Alpha Pro Power. It's been, I guess it hasn't been gaining as much attention as the Pro Power series, probably just because there's so much stuff going on. It's the middle of summer. Or not the middle of summer, the start of summer. So it's a really busy time to compete for people's attention.
I think it's also just much newer. The Power series had so much hype. It started building hype back in, October probably? The reviewers started getting them in December or January, and then they released in February, so it was 4-month buildup, whereas this is just, people are just now starting to find out about it, and then it's releasing probably in the next, 6-ish weeks. There's no official date set, but it's much sooner than, much less lead time than what the Power series had.
Yeah. And I think that's good. He probably learned some things from last time, to build it up over that much time probably was more of a headache for him from people, keep asking him when's the launch date? And I think there was some problems with the shipment too last time, it just got delayed.
I just don't think he ordered enough.
Yeah, that too, especially in the Vapor shape. But I did get some time. Kyle was nice enough to let me play with his Alpha Pro Power, the Vapor shape. I think there's coming in all the shapes, right? I assume.
Yeah. So I have it in the Vapor shape. My wife was using it in the Pegasus shape, and I don't yet have the Huarache shape, which is unfortunate because apparently that's what everyone wants now, which is very strange to me after the Power series where everyone wanted the Vapor, but it seems like recently it's everyone I talk to, oh, well, let me know when you get that in the Huarache shape, or, I'd love to try it, but you got to get the Huarache one. So I guess, David, if you're watching this, you have my address.
I think there's been a little bit more of a resurgence in the elongated shapes. You had the wide bodies kind of getting popular a little bit, and now I've even migrated to hybrids and elongateds. That's what I prefer. So I think people just kind of the elongateds have been getting better in terms of swing weight and stability and sweet spot size. So that's probably part of it. It's hey, if I can get just a little sacrifice in sweet spot and swing weight, why not go for the elongated? I can get more power. I can have more reach. And I think that was kind of the main reason people are switching to the wide bodies was the sweet spot and the swing weight. But if you can, get best of that with the elongated, then it really doesn't make sense to go wide body unless you just, for whatever reason, like the wider paddle and more maneuverability. So
I can see that.
There's still a place. So I'll just give my initial thoughts. Kyle can go more in depth, but just my initial. I only played a little bit with it, and then I switched to the Vapor Pro Power just so I could hit both at the same time with Kyle's setup, so that I could kind of feel it. And right out of the gate, I guess sometimes I shouldn't read what people are saying, but I thought the Alpha Pro Power was going to be a little bit softer. And it wasn't like super stiff, but like it was stiffer than I was thinking it was going to be. It is like slightly softer than the Vapor Pro Power, but I just didn't think it was that much softer. Like it feels a little softer. It feels like you get a little bit more dwell time. and Kyle will go into it, but it does feel like the pop doesn't activate as fast. You can soften the ball a little easier with it. I think the power level is pretty similar. I didn't run any tests out there, but I didn't notice a big difference in like top end power on overheads and serves and drives. Seemed pretty similar in that regard. Came down to kind of more of a feel and a touch in the soft game. But that's what my experience was. Short amount of time. Don't have my own units yet. But Kyle, what do you find the difference since you actually main these paddles, the Vapor Pro Power and the Vapor Alpha Pro Power?
Yeah. So I'd say you're pretty spot on, at least from my experience. You know, a lot of people say that there's a break-in, which I think there is a little bit of a break-in, and it'll kind of depend on how hard you hit with how quickly you hit that break-in point. But the paddles that Jacob played with today were plenty far broken in past that point. They probably have, I don't know, 30, 40 hours on them or something like that. But yeah, so it's a very interesting paddle because it kind of took the most successful piece of some of the most recent paddles from 11Six24. You know, it has the 10 millimeter cells from the Alpha paddle. It has the sort of power core or the foam core portion from the Power series, and then it has the face layup from the All Court line. So you're sort of blending all of what worked best in all of these lines into one paddle. And, you know, if you read what some people are saying, it's this magic paddle that is going to instantly turn you into a 5-0 or pro player, or, you know, some people are saying it's as soft as a pillow. Other people are saying it hits harder than a old Ripple. It's like people are saying a lot of different things about this, and it's more of a, I think I would say, evolution rather than a revolution. It's the same statistics, I would say, similar power, similar pop as the Power series. It's just like you were mentioning, it's all in the feel. You know, you can maybe shape it a little bit better because of the little bit of dwell, or but I think what you really feel it more on is the softer shots. So if you're someone who just drives all day, it's probably a whatever upgrade.
I don't know anyone like that.
Yeah, who knows that? But if all you do is drive the ball, you're probably going to say, okay, it's nice, but why did I buy this when I already had the Power paddle? So it's more for people who would want to reset more or drop more or dink more, because then you really get more of that softer feeling, or more of that, you know, like I noticed it a lot more for, you know, like the rolling shots opposed to just the hard hitting shots. If you're just smacking the ball, it's the same.
What about that inside out forehand winner I had to end the game? Do you think that was and that was with the Alpha Pro Power? Do you think that helped me?
It was pretty nice. I will say one thing though. After that first game, or right after you switched, my wife, who I was playing mixed with at the time, said, "I'm really glad Jacob switched off of that paddle because I could not handle his serve with it." And that's the only paddle she said that with, from all the ones that you were playing with today.
Well, I think I played you guys with the Honolulu J2 NFT after that.
Yeah, and then later with the
also very
era.
I was getting very tired, so I wasn't going as much for my serve. So
that's true. That's true. You did.
I don't know if it was
an
apples
use the
to
Pro
apples.
Power when you were the most fresh. So
yeah. As the time went on, and I was sweating and just baking in the sun, I was definitely lollipopping the serve, and I was not going for it anymore. But yeah, it did feel really good. Like, I mean, obviously that was the first game I played with it, and seamless transition. Like, didn't have any problems with any shots. I was feeling it. So I can't wait to get my own and try it some more. I think that is something I've noticed a lot of people looking for. They're like, you know, there was a rush, like everyone wants the most powerful thing, but now people are like, okay, like there's a lot of powerful paddles, but which one is powerful? And it will also like help me with my soft game, because they're noticing like some of those power paddles are really poppy and it's hard to control. And I think that with this one being easier to control in a softer game with still having that finishing power, it's going to be a good fit for a lot of people. And it's great that they'll make it in all the shapes. So
Yeah, it almost feels like when we were going through that sort of Gen 2 thermoforming phase, and everyone wanted to be the first to just have that paddle, and then people figured it out and they started doing more to it, whether they're trying different faces or different layups or whatever it may be. And then you started getting paddles that felt a little bit different. You had the J2K versus the double black diamond. Well, the root, they were basically the same, but people had a lot of preferences between the two. I would say this is a sort of similar thing where you have this Gen 3, it's kind of figured out, and now it's a matter of, well, how does it feel or play? And so, yeah. I think we're getting the same thing with the foam paddles that are coming out too. But 11Six24 said they're not making a foam paddle. So I know a lot of people are going to be up in arms about that.
I'm sure there's other materials that we'll see come. And obviously we've seen evolutions already in the foam paddle, which was a lot kind of quicker. Like the Gen 3, it seemed like everyone, I guess, kind of did the same thing, right? Like foam and the core, they're kind of similar shapes. But with this foam, you're starting to see different things. Like, the Carbon's doing cutouts in it. Other people are doing cutouts as well. And now Honolulu is doing two different types of foam with the core and then the foam around the perimeter. So you're getting the evolutions faster, and I think it's probably because like now these factories have more technology that they can offer, because they're like, oh, these pickleball people, they really like their paddles. Like they don't want just like a basic thing. They want to come up with new designs, and whether some of the, I'm sure you have to kind of throw stuff at the wall with some of these things because you don't know like how they're going to perform until you hit them. But it's cool that like we're getting like different ideas now, because like for Gen 3 for a while there was just kind of like, okay, like it's the same design, maybe the face is slightly different, but now we're getting a lot of cool creations.
And the only thing you cared about was how fast does it core crush.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're starting to move into like actually some nuance about paddle performance rather than just, oh, does it break in 2 days or 2 weeks?
Exactly. And I mean, I'm hoping that, and I think that's why some people are upset, like if he doesn't go to foam, because it seems like the foam durability is pretty well established, especially with the like carbon true foams. It seems like they've been doing pretty well. But maybe there's other ways and other stuff that can not break as well. We'll see.
He did just put out an update saying no foam paddle is coming. He's working on a full new platform that he's doing completely on it, developing himself. He's going to try to patent it, trying to make a factory in the U.S. and get production in-house. And so he's trying to go mainstream.
If you can nail that, it makes a lot of sense, because like then no one can copy you, right? Like so.
But I mean, it is risky too, because I mean, he built the whole brand off of he's sort of taking a different idea and then just iterating on it, making it in his own way, and so it'll be interesting. And it seems like that's a similar path to what some of these other companies are doing. Like I think Spartus is working on their U.S. made paddle, and so I mean, we'll see.
You have to. I think you have to take certain risks to try to keep up with the competition, especially when you're not one of the these big companies like Yola and Selkirk. You have to take some chances, and I mean, he's already got some hits, right? So he can afford to, like if he misses on something, then he can afford to miss. But I'm sure he's done some prototyping and saw success and is chasing that now. So that will be fun. I mean, I'm all for, like, for me, obviously it doesn't, I want everyone to succeed, but it's really cool to see different stuff. Like I was getting bored with like just typical Gen 3. I was like, let me see some different stuff. So I'm excited to have different things to explore, because like there's only so much you can say about a Gen 3 style paddle. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
It's gonna core crush eventually, probably, and like just depends how hard you hit.
But we're still in the all talk phase. We're not seeing any results from it. But it's at least nice to hear that things should be coming. But I think we're still gonna have to wait another 6 months to a year to really get
even
stuff
officially dropped yet.
Right now. But you hear Selkirk talking about stuff that they potentially have, but or Spartus again with their big or their upcoming paddle. And
but behind the scenes, I've heard a lot of potential talks that never come to fruition. So like, I don't pay attention to the talking until I see a paddle at my doorstep, like, and then I'm like, okay, now we can talk. But was there anything? One other thing too, Kyle. What is your Instagram? In case anyone, he's in Southeast Michigan, people. So if you're looking for 11Six24 ambassador, he's the best one in the area. I don't know if he's the only one, but he's the best one. Anyway, if you want to find him or you just want to follow his journey, what is your Instagram? And I'll link it in the description too.
It's my wife and I. It's our pickleball Instagram. It's called P&K Pickleball. So for Paige and Kyle, that's.
Really,
we're very creative
with the creativity on that one. Oh,
and we're also incredible at posting, as you'll see.
How many posts are we at?
I don't know, 4 or 5. We're terrible about it.
Okay. Well, anyway, you can DM him there if you're looking to try out these paddles.
It'll get better. It'll get better.
Yeah. Okay. Anything 11Six24 related, or you ready to move on to some MLP talk?
Yeah, I think that's all. Unless you want to go more into depth, I'm a yapper. I'll keep talking about whatever.
Nope, we are good on that. We already spent 20-something minutes on 11Six24.
Perfect.
That's all they get. That's all they get from me. MLP. So you probably are a bigger MLP guy than me lately. I've been busy. I've been sick. But I like to tune in. I love how they have Pro Pickleball on all weekend. It's nice that I can tune in and out. I think they haven't really been doing a great job with the coverage. Sometimes it's hard to find what time is it on. I know MLP's better than PPA because usually the matches are scheduled at certain times, so you can kind of. Is that how it's still been going? They've been scheduling it and you can watch.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a loose schedule because they just start the next match after the one finishes. But
yeah,
it's close-ish.
Okay. Do you think that so? When I first started watching MLP, I really, really enjoyed the draft process. I'm a big draft guy. I play fantasy football, do a lot of that stuff. So drafting's always super interesting to me. But when they did the auction draft for the spots, auctioning off the spots, I was really not enthused with that. I didn't think that was a good way to do things. If everyone had a fixed fake budget and then you're bidding on players and you lose your budget, then that's fine. You do it like an auction fantasy football. But that's not how they did it. They did it with fake money and real money, and some of the teams don't want to spend because the teams aren't making any money, right? So, unless you're a rich owner that's willing to basically waste money on it just because you love pickleball, then there was really no point to do it. Do you think that's kind of you've seen that kind of bear out? There's a top half of the league and a bottom half, basically those who wanted to spend money and those who didn't want to spend money.
Yeah, exactly. I think the draft idea was really cool. You got to bid for your draft spot, whatever. But it should have just been all fake money. And so it just really incentivizes everyone to maximize it because it's cool to have the idea, you wasted all your money on Ben Johns. And so now you got to figure out how to put a team together with, a few lower level players or you're trying to get 4 middle of the pack players and, we'll run it and see what happens. But what kind of worked out was you have some teams who spent big and they're looking really good. They're fun to watch. They're at the top of the standings. And then you have some other teams that are just feels like a waste of time to even watch them. I mean, you watch the New York Hustlers play and you're like, who is this team? Why are they here? Why are we even showing them on broadcast? It's kind of almost like a chore to keep up with some of it.
I think some of the bottom end teams, their players just shouldn't be there. It's just they're not good enough for the that pro level, right? Maybe they could play a PPA tournament, but they're it's like a college player coming up to the NFL too early. It's they just can't hang in there, and it's whew. I know when Ben Johns had who is he had? I think is he playing with Tammy Emmerich? Is that? Yeah, and I've watched some of those games, and it's just you can tell he's expecting her to do certain things, and she just is does not do them a normal. Not saying she's not normal, but a a premier player caliber player would.
Yeah, I mean,
actually
she's
do
not
that.
Annalie. Ben's
Yeah.
used to playing with Annalie. She's
Yeah.
not, and but that's part of the excitement, right? You got to figure out how to make that work, and
Yeah. He doesn't
when you
seem
do,
interested
so.
in making it work. He's
He
out there.
seemed a little bit more interested this weekend, but
Okay, he got
it's-
a little more interested.
But maybe that's just because of all the backlash he got over
Yeah.
the last one. So
Yeah. Well.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe they also just brought too many teams up from Challenger because now it's kind of saturated in Premier.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like they're really trying to force it, and it should. I feel like it should be more restrictive rather than just open up, because then you get better matches, better players.
I think they were having a problem. Like some of the team owners obviously want to be in Premier. I almost feel like you should just do all Premier and not have like two separate leagues anymore, especially when you're not putting kind of the same effort into both. And the viewership's always been lower on Challenger, and I just don't know. I don't know who Challenger is for, besides the
Right.
players that I want to come up. But
Well, and
it's
now
not
you
really
have
for
the bonus
fans.
players, the fifth and sixth
Yeah.
player on the roster, and so that's just even more players taking away from Challenger. So yeah, maybe that's the solution. Just cut them, get rid of them.
Well, and then some of the teams aren't even traveling with their extra players, and they're
Which is
getting like
ridiculous.
on-site subs. So I'm like, yeah, it just doesn't seem like. I feel like they've changed. They kind of changed the format every year, and the rules every year. I just want to see like the rules be consistent, the format be consistent. Honestly, I think the best part about MLP is that it kind of changed every year. I would just do a draft every year. Just do a straight up draft every year, and either do a snake draft or auction spots, but use fake money. Don't use it as a fundraiser. That like. I understand you're trying to inject cash into the league, but you're going to get the same problem. You're going to get bad teams because there's going to be owners that don't want to spend money. So I would just do a straight snake draft or a fake auction, fake money auction draft. That's how I would
Yeah.
prefer it to be done.
Well, and I think they just need to fully think out what they're implementing, because they added these two extra players on the team, and what do? They're just subs. They're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Make them play the Dream Breaker, or be
Yeah.
allowed to sub players in, or like
Yeah.
mid-match or something. I don't know. It's find some use for these players to, at least get them to have some, at least matter. Because why do they matter? Why do we care about them? Other than just, if so-and-so gets hurt, they don't have to use an on-site alternate, but
Yeah. Like maybe if they have, because like each weekend that they're playing, they have like a different number of matches per team, right? So we don't even know the set matches, but maybe they have to play. Say if they're playing 4 matches, they have to play at least one of the matches, or something. Like one of their 2 alternates have to play.
something.
Because it sucks for them too. Like they could be playing Challenger or something, but now the way they do it, with MLP being kind of like separate from all the PPA tournaments, just all bunched up, some of these players don't even get to play. Like they're not even getting to any action. So that really sucks for them.
Yeah.
To not, they're not getting experience. They're not getting better because they're not getting the competition. And I don't know. But that leads in, I guess we're going to have their mid-season tournament is coming to Beer City, which will be cool because we'll be
Very
there.
exciting.
That's awesome that it's going to be, that's one thing too that I liked about MLP. Usually, like at the start, it was always like they're doing a tournament. So there was, now right now it's regular season. There's really not. It seems we don't know what's at stake, right? They're chasing points in the standings, but it doesn't feel as intense.
Well, and it's
Now
hard
that
to
we
follow because the different teams have played different amounts of matches. So do you go by total points per game? How do you even evaluate who's the best team? Whatever.
That's one thing that doesn't really make sense to me, but at least we get a mid-season tournament to go watch. That will be cool. There's a cash prize, I assume, I hope.
Cash
that's
prize
usually how they
and
do it.
standing points.
Okay.
So it double matters this year.
We're going to get the best effort of the regular season from these players because, they're directly incentivized to play well and get that money. So can't wait to like be there in action. I myself have never seen pro pickleball, so I am very excited to see it in person for the first time. And then, hopefully win some matches at Beer City, but it's cool to have, the consolation like, okay, didn't win any matches, or maybe I flamed out in the second or third round, but now I get to go watch pro pickleball, drink some beer,
Well, and they do a full come-around bracket for amateurs, which is really nice.
There you
so you
go.
can play all the way
elimination.
back to... Yeah, it's a true double elimination bracket, which is nice.
You've been twice now to Beer City? Or once?
No, just last year. Yeah, so just once.
What was your experience? Like, what was your favorite part about Beer City? And that was the first time they did Major League Pickleball there too, right?
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah, it was really cool because, you would just be walking around, you would play your matches. We had a lot of friends that went, so we could just walk up, watch our friends play. The pros are playing right there. You can just turn around and there's the pros playing. Their warm-up courts were right there. You could just sit and watch the pros warm up, or you see them walking around, you can just talk to them, pretty much anyone except for Anna Lee, because she has her bus and she just goes in there. But it's cool. You get to see everyone. You can, and then even if you are in one of the 8 a.m. brackets in the amateur tournaments, you have the chance of playing on one of those grandstand courts. Like, I know we got one of our matches was on the championship court. That's with cool. All the stands and everything, and we got to play. We had friends that came and were sitting in the stands cheering us on, and it was really cool. And so there's a lot to like. It's probably the best amateur tournament I've been to. I guess if you go 0-2, it kind of sucks, but they have beer there. You get a beer chip that you can just turn in for a free beer, and they have food trucks, and the pro plays right there. Everything's right there on site. You don't have to go anywhere. You just enjoy it. You hang out and have fun. It's all pickleball.
It's that, and that's what, like, the reason I wanted to go. I wasn't even 100% sure if I was going to play in it, but I'm like, all right, let's play. And for the most part, I'm going to be there like pretty much all weekend. So I'll be there the days I'm not, and I want to make some content. And David is coming in too, so it's going to be fun. And then obviously know a ton of people that are going to be playing, so it's like I'll probably be walking around watching people play, and
yeah, we might even play each other at some point.
We are in the same bracket for mixed. Kyle definitely doesn't want to see me because I never lose 3 times in a row. It's a fact. Never lost 3 times in a row in my life to the same team. Probably lost 3 times in a row in other.
Well, this will be a different team because all of those were men's. We've never played in mixed.
Honestly, I think mixed might be my better. I don't know. I've been getting better in men's too, but mixed is probably like where my game fits the best, I would say.
I think mixed is my better discipline as well. So it'll be exciting.
We'll have to see.
It'll
what
be
happens.
Exciting.
I hope we didn't just pay all this money and drive all this time just to play each other in the first round, though.
Yeah,
I don't really.
Yeah, I get you
final,
first round, and then
not the first round.
Then I play my men's doubles partner in the second round or whatever, because he's also
he
in
it too. Yeah. Alex in it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alec, who I guess does watch the podcast occasionally, especially after the last one where he beat. Of course, he watched the podcast after he beat me in the tournament. Of course, he was tuning in for that one. But whatever. So yeah, that will be a lot of fun. Can't wait. And I guess we'll be there the same days because we're playing in the same part of the tournament. So
yeah, well, I'll be there Thursday because my wife is playing women's on Thursday.
Oh, nice.
They do it different
where
women's is Thursday, singles is Friday, and then you have mixed Saturday, men's Sunday.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different than some.
MLP starts Thursday, I believe, or they start Wednesday.
Oh, I can't remember.
I will be there. Friday. I'll probably won't be at the tournament site until Friday night, but I'll be checking it out Friday night. Hopefully, there's some pro action going on then.
Well, and the best days to watch are definitely going to be the weekend because it's an elimination tournament, so you're going to get rid of all of the bad teams and
higher stakes at the end of the tournament.
Yeah, so all the bad teams are going to be playing on those early days, and they'll get knocked out, and then you'll just have the top teams coming in.
That's what I'm there for. I can't wait. I kind of want to be like. I hope it's a rowdy crowd. I like some rowdy.
It
crowds
was
for
last
sporting
year. It
events.
was crazy.
Can't
So,
wait. I know. I hope it's like Stackstrud. I wanna heckle Stackstrud.
well, I know
That's
I
my
got my
dream.
dad and sister to come out for a little bit, and they were in the stands watching that one game between, I don't know, I think it was the Squeeze and someone else that went into insane overtime up into the 40s or something like that. If it was like 40-42,
Oh damn,
because this
that's
was back
wild.
with the rally scoring. Now they're in the
Yeah.
side out, but it was at the time. I don't know if it's been beaten, but at the time the longest MLP game ever. And they were in the stands for that. They were like, "Oh, I can't believe this is what the pros look
Yeah.
like. It's crazy." So
Yeah, see that's something they need. They need these like records on their site, like longest rally, long or highest score. Stuff like that. I loved like looking up when I was a kid for like football, baseball, hockey. Like who's the all time leader of this and this. But maybe I'll throw that suggestion to them. I got some.
or even if they
contacts.
did a fantasy league for MLP, that'd be
That
crazy.
would they should a fantasy league for MLP would make a lot of sense, and then they need to pony up some prize money and get people interested. But I definitely could see that. If one day fantasy pickleball ever became as big as fantasy football, I have some new content to add because I spend too much time doing that stuff. But yeah, that is coming up pretty soon here, like maybe a little over a month away, but yeah,
Yeah,
coming
should be
almost
right
a
around the
month
same
away.
time the Alpha Pro Power releases.
What a good release! You could live stream your games to show. You're like, look at me with my Alpha Pro power.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of sad people who just ordered and it comes as they're at the tournament, and they
Well, they'll be tracking you down. Like, Kyle, can I get Can I borrow it between games? He's not going to let you borrow.
should
it,
just have David hook me up with a few extra before.
No, we'll see. He's got a big shipment coming in, so maybe
That's true, and he is from
maybe-
Michigan. Maybe he'll come out, show up with a little.
He played
setup
last
shop.
year.
He
played
did.
last year.
That's actually where I
so,
first met him. He was playing singles, and
yeah,
he plays singles just like he runs his company. He just doesn't.
wild.
He just thinks he can do more than he can. I'll
Yep,
say.
I was supposed to play with him the next morning after his tournament, but he hurt himself. So
Yeah, I watched that. He was chasing a ball, smacked straight into the fence, and he was
I'm
out
not-
bad.
that's why I don't play singles. I just injure myself when I play singles. So, I mean, it would have been fun when I was younger, but I'm too old for the singles game now.
I know you're about to be able to play the 35 plus bracket next year.
I'm an
Moving up.
old man.
Moving up.
Those 35 to what was it 35 to 50?
49, yeah, because the
49.
next one's 50 plus.
They better watch out next year. I'm gonna be tearing up the 35 plus scene.
Hey, those 35 plus brackets look scary this year. Did you
Honestly,
look at some of those teams there?
they might be
It's
better.
tough.
So, someone told me that the 35 to 49 bracket is actually harder than the 19 to 29.
I wouldn't go
probably
that
not,
far.
Probably not at 5-0, but at like lower, like 4-0, maybe 4-5, because those
Maybe.
people are more dedicated, and maybe you get more younger people trying it for the first time.
I could
But
see
yeah,
it.
at 5-0, the 19 to 29 is going to be
It's
way
a
better.
stacked bracket
It's
this
going to
year.
be way
It's
better than the
crazy.
35 to 49. So
that bracket's going to be fun to watch. It's so stacked.
that's the goal next year. 35 to 49, 5-0 is the goal. That's probably where I want to be. But besides that, anything else MLP wise or last minute 11-624 thoughts?
I think that's all for me. Enjoy your paddle talks.
All right, go check out P&K Pickleball.
Yeah.
P&K
P&K.
Pickleball. I'll link
The
it in
wife
the
comes
description.
first.
That's smart. Link it in the description. I appreciate you joining us, Kyle. So if you have any 11-624 questions, he is the best person to ask right now. I think he's probably put some of the most time on the paddles. So go flood his DMs like you guys like to flood me with paddle questions. Go flood his DMs or drop the comments. Maybe he can just answer it in the comments.
Yeah, check
if
out.
you have a really good question.
Leave a comment. Let me know.
Yep.
Or if you disagree with any of our MLP takes.
No, if you have any disagreements, just let Kyle know in his DMs. It's probably a better way to handle it. It's got a little bit of hate from the Ben Johns situation when he quit MLP. Apparently, a lot of people are big Ben Johns fans, so my bad. But here they come back again. But yeah,
Uh-oh.
Kyle, appreciate your time and joining me. We'll probably have you back on, the next time
Perfect.
11Six24 drops
And I
a
look
paddle.
forward to playing with you later this week.
Yeah, let's go. And get some.
Oh, let's go. All right.
All
Bye.
right, Kyle. Take care. See ya. All right. So we'll bring Kyle back on another time. Really appreciate his time. Awesome guy. So I hope we can connect him with some local people looking for 11Six24 paddles. And I hope that gives you an idea about the differences between the Pro Power and the Alpha Pro Power. I think that they're just, some subtle differences, but some people like that better than the Pro Power, and others will like the Pro Power better than the Alpha Pro Power. Just depends on what you like. But let's move on to the Holbrook Arma T, which I apparently forgot to bring down with me, but it's in the thumbnail, so go check it out, and you can definitely Google it to look at it. So I've been putting all my time on the Arma T, the elongated version with the long handle, and it's very poppy, very powerful. I would say it's right up there with the Pro 4s, Perseus 16 millimeter, and now the Rhombus Ripple, a little bit below those two. But I would say it's poppier than the Pro 4 Perseus 16 millimeter. And it's a little stiffer. Definitely is a loud paddle. My concern with this paddle, and I'm sure many of you have seen the X-rays. You have the two different cell densities. So like it starts off. Does it start off with a 10 millimeter lower? Anyway, so you start off with one cell density down here, and then up towards the top of the paddle here, just for demonstration. So there's a different cell density here, and then another cell density here. So I think it's 10 millimeter, and then like 6 millimeter. I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong. But the problem is where those two cell densities merge is I think my paddle is starting to break. And you've seen the X-rays, you've seen the pictures of people cutting theirs open. The health of those cells is not good. And for that reason, with my experience seeing all the other stuff, I just don't think these paddles are going to last long. We already have problems with Gen 3 and Gen 2 paddles, core crushing. I think this paddle is just set up to fail, and it's going to, mine's already starting to core crush, I believe. It's getting hotter every time I play it. And as it's gotten hotter, it's starting to go past that Ripple R1 and kind of remind me of a broken in mod that is broken. So with all that said, like, it played really well. I enjoyed it out of the box. It played really well. Great spin, great pop and power combo, just how I like it. But now as it's starting to heat up every time I'm playing, starting to get louder, I can't recommend it. I would, with all the other great paddles, I would personally recommend just avoiding the new Holbrooks. I don't think that they are going to last long. Obviously we have a smaller sample size of seeing things right now, but I can't recommend, people to spend their money on something that's going to break so fast. I know they do have a warranty, but I don't want you out there buying a paddle that you're going to have to warranty within a week or two. It just, isn't great when there's other better options. So Holbrook Armor T, it's going to get a thumbs down from me. Selkirk Era. Now this one, I was very surprised. Let's pull that bad boy out. Selkirk Era. This is the elongated version. Comes in 16 millimeter. I think that they're just making these in 16 for now, and there's going to be a wide body too. Just have the elongated. Played with this one today. This is nice. This is a Gen 3 style paddle. I don't think they've released like all the details on the specs and construction. But from what I understand, I think it might be a CFC layup. And the Gen 3 construction, this, and I didn't measure the swing weight yet. Played with like 1 gram per inch, probably like a 4-inch strip on the sides. I really, really like this paddle. This is great. This is Selkirk's best paddle yet. I guess it's in the SLK line, but still Selkirk. Excellent paddle. Power level, right there. I didn't measure it yet, but looking at my paddle list, I would put it right around, you know, I would put it right under like the J2NF, kind of like the Paddletech Bantam TKOC, Proton Flamingo, Yola Pro 4 Scorpius, in that range. So not quite at the 60 millimeter Perseus Pro 4, but a little bit below. Now that's a really good power level, and the pop level, we'll say it's around the pop level of a Pro 4 16 millimeter, maybe a little less. Need some more time to really hone that in, but really great sweet spot size for an elongated. Great maneuverability. I'll have to get the swing weight on this because it felt really, really good. So Selkirk era, I am pretty impressed with my initial impressions. And just with the little time I've spent on it, I have to say it's Selkirk's best paddle they've ever made. And yeah, take that for what you will. Element 6 SUTR. So this one is a paddle coming out of Tennessee. Tennessee, guys. Right here. So I've got to spend a little bit of time on this. Probably got about 4 games on this. A lot of busy weekend catching up with everything. I'm sick. And this one is made with carbon fiber strips and then foam filled, kind of similar to like a Ripple. And this is a hybrid. Great that they went with the hybrid for their first one of these. I would say this is, comparing it, it's very loud. It goes thud, 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 thud. This one is not as powerful as the Ripple hybrid, and slightly less poppy. Sweet spot is bigger. This is a 115 swing weight. I think that's at the top end of the range from my discussions with the owner. So maneuverable for a hybrid if that's 115 is the top of the range. Pretty good sweet spot size, a little bit bigger than the Ripple R4's sweet spot. So this is going to be a good one. I think the price is going to be $150 with a code at the launch. So that's really, really excellent. I think that they'll probably sell out. I don't know how many they're making, but good vibes so far from the Element 6 SUTR. And now, my last talk, just, obviously had a review come out on the Honolulu J2NF earlier. Well, I guess last week while you're watching this. But this is my early front runner for paddle of the year. If I had to crown something right now, this would be it. So, I guess we're not done with the first half of the year. But so far in the first half of the year, the J2NF, forget about the L. It's going to be the NF. This is my favorite paddle, and if you haven't seen the review, I have the I cut open the Kevlar version, which has the same core, so you can see this has a EVA perimeter foam with the EPP foam in the middle, and then they're kind of interlocked like puzzle pieces. Just the power combo, the maneuverability at the 114 swing weight, the stability. Not too poppy, but enough pop to get the job done, the dwell time, and the spin. It's just like in a hybrid shape, it's just everything that I really, really enjoy and I play the best with. So Honolulu absolutely nailed this paddle, and they have pre-orders now. I think it's $175 after the code AllDriveNoDrop. And the first batch already sold out. The second batch is coming in July. Like, I'm putting an order in because I like this so much. This is so good. So yeah, and they're gonna come. Hey, I've been talking to the owner, guys. I'm trying to get some. I don't know if I'm gonna get the name, but we're gonna get some designs. We're at least getting a blacked out version. I'm trying to get some cool designs. I'm working on it. I'm probably trying to pull some strings. Okay. Also played some games with the J2 NFT. Played some more games. I was trying to focus on the J2NF and the FC Plus for my review because those are the ones that were available to order. They still can't order this one. But a lot of people were very curious about the J2 NFT. So I played some, I gotta do what the people want. Actually, this one, I think with the gold like polyester, it looks pretty cool too. This is really good. This, like whether you want to classify it all court leaning power or at the bottom of the power tier, Doesn't matter. Whatever you want to call it. It still has pretty good power. Where did I have it ranked? I have it ranked right around the Mark Unmarked, Carbon True Film Genesis 1, Franklin C4, the 5 Dynasty, the Friday Fever. So a pretty good spot to be in. And, it's at a 113 swing weight. I think the range is 110 to 114. So we're talking about a paddle you could add weight, get it more powerful. I notice I would kind of call it like I notice a power drop off when I'm playing with an all court paddle where I'm like, that ball with a power paddle I would have put away. And I did not get that experience when I'm playing with the J2 NFT. When I get an overhead and I should put it away, I put it away with that. And that's what I would classify as a power paddle for me. You could do it numerically if you want. Make up the number you want. And then that, like people always are like trying to pin me on the category. And I'm like, I don't think it really matters. It's like you kind of know when you know, or you can pick a number and you can go with that number. But, like if you had a paddle and you're hitting 57 miles per hour with a serve, and then there's a paddle that's 56.9 miles per hour with a serve, is one all court and one's power? It doesn't really make sense. But if you did that with numbers, you would have to make that cutoff somewhere. But anyway, this one feels awesome. Like it's soft. It's got an amazing sweet spot, amazing stability, elite spin, and then the pop is not too high and the power is just enough to get the job done. So if people are looking for something that's toned down, they're like, hey, I want a power paddle, but I want to have the best control and the best, soft hands with that power paddle, this would be it, the J2 NFT. So I think this is going to be a really popular one too. If you are someone that, like, hey, I need some power, but I want the control with it, then the J2 NFT is going to be amazing for you. So for some people, that might be the front runner for them for paddle of the year. But that's all I have. Let me know how you liked having Kyle on. Do you think I should bring more ambassadors on? Do you think I should do it when there's a launch, like kind of like 11Six24, because it was something that I didn't have the paddle, so I had to go get him and bring him on. Maybe in the future for other launches, it'd be cool. I mean, obviously it works better when I know the person locally, because then I know it's better when I know the person beforehand. We already have a rapport. But yeah, let me know how that was for you. And then let me know which paddles that you're really looking forward to in the comments. I'm interested what you're looking forward to the most. We have big launches coming out, I guess, June 10th. What is today? Oh, June 10th is Tuesday. So you have a day after, tomorrow, basically, if you're watching this podcast, the day it airs, you'll have the Franklin C45 elongateds and wide bodies. You'll have the Holbrook Arma series, and then you'll have the Diadem Blue Cores. So my quick takes on those, you already heard the Holbrook. I'm going to give it a thumbs down. Don't recommend it. I think it's going to have core crushing issues. Franklin C45s, I really enjoy the 16 millimeter elongated. I think it's a great one that, kind of like the, if you don't want the ultimate top end of power and pop, and that one doesn't need as much weight as the C45 hybrid. So those are really fun to play with. Really, really good. Looked really cool with, those red and blue edge guards too. Pretty sleek look. And then the Diadem Blue Cores, like, I think they're like control paddles, all court leaning control. I only got to hit 2 of them. I wasn't really excited about them. Didn't, think they're going to be 200s. I prefer the True Foams to them. I prefer these new Honolulu foam paddles. I probably even prefer the Selkirk 008 Maxima to those. So just, they're all right. I don't prefer other ones in that price range. So two thumbs downs for me. Thumbs down to the Holbrook launch. Thumbs down to the Diadem Blue Core, and then a thumbs up for the Franklin. And that's all I got. Thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Don't know how you haven't done it yet. Like the video, and then drop me a comment with any questions and what you're looking forward to the most. Thank you very much. Go play some pickleball.